Today, Precarious plays
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
What have I done, Cooper?
Don't play innocent with me, Moogle.
But isn't the only... Wait. But isn't the one with the bounty on his head a human? I'm a Moogle. You said it yourself, Kupo.
We have witnesses that saw the human with a Moogle. You all look the same to me.
Kupo, that's no reason to send me to prison.
It's enough reason for me. Now come along quietly.
Oh my god.
That's horrible. The judge isn't even listening. He's no better than a schoolyard bully. I don't like schoolyard bullies. And Mom Lachlan looks over and, like, New Kid has his hand resting on, like, part of his sword, and he's, like, his hand is bleeding because he's, like, gripping it so hard. Like, not even the blade. He just, like, the guard or the pommel, you know, he's just digging it into his palm.
I guess they're beyond worrying about appearances.
I don't think that's Mont Blanc's voice.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's uncool of you.
Yeah.
Guess all Moogles look the same to you, too.
The reason I'm uncool is because I'm on New Kid's team.
That's it. I'm not standing for this anymore.
Time to sit down.
Here I am. It's me, New Kid. I'm the one Prince Mute is looking for.
Is it really you? You're turning yourself in?
Yes, and I want you to release all the innocents.
Not going to happen. Not until we know you're really him.
Ooh, do you think there's a brain disease in the air?
I don't know.
Because we're both really weirdly struggling. Ugh. It's the minus button twice. Okay, no combat tech. Does he have tech? Yeah, he has fighter tech. Ooh. I don't want to mess it up, so let's switch to ninja, because even if it's a tech, I never use... Okay, it's a skill anyway. But I never use those.
Back to the subject we were talking about last episode
Yes.
with generic characters. So this is my primary example of generic characters being good. I haven't played a lot of stuff with generic characters because managing this type of stuff and all of their clothes and all of their shoes and all of their skills and all of their play dates and all of their ass wipes just after a point drives me crazy. I think the only game that generic characters don't bother me, they're not really characters, they're units and it's civilization. So I don't have a really bad example. Do you?
A bad example of
generic characters, like generic characters seeming like total filler garbage. Or just not being as effective as if they had names and backstories.
Well, in a sense, this game. I think that this game is saved by... Actually, you know what? No, Final Fantasy Tactics, the original.
Yeah.
Because this game, it's not a problem primarily because... It's because of the illustrations.
Yeah.
Hold on, was it skills? Oh, no, it is text. Texts are illegal. Okay. It's the character portraits that sort of sell the experience. Because they infuse each race with so much character.
And then on top of that, all of the jobs they take change each unit.
Yeah, it really, in Final Fantasy Tactics, the way I wound up like thinking about most of my characters and sort of processing them, internalizing them, it was based on the job that they held. Because that, again, is where like the uniqueness for each character would manifest. It'd be like, that is my Dragoon.
Okay.
And it actually wound up being a problem more recently, when I played the game through most recently. Because I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why only 5? Is someone gonna join me? Let me... I think I'm going to leave one. I think I'm gonna leave Undyne behind. Ah, no, she's so close. I'm going to. This will be fine. This is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I need to see if anybody has anything worth stealing anyway.
So what do you have to work with in Final Fantasy Tactics?
In Final Fantasy Tactics, everyone is the same. They're all just like human, right?
Okay.
You do have monsters. I forgot. I often forget about monsters. But when I played the game most recently, I would occasionally have several characters that were all on the same like job track, right?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until towards, I don't know, the last third of the game where that sort of stopped and everyone had like their stats where I wanted them.
And then they kind of branched out into what they were always meant to be.
Right. Whoa.
That's a cool hat.
Well, more than the cool hat. A lot of these guys have very good armor on. I like what is it, Carbani?
You know, like...
Carabini mail, and that's freaking Genji armor. The dragon mail's not bad. I think it has something to do with elemental resist. Hold on, can I check it from here? Armor, yeah, half on fire damage.
Wow. So you're gonna just take it straight off their bods?
In the usual fashion, yes. I'm sort of debating whether or not to leave one of the Vieira behind so I can bring Mel, because Mel has sleep. That's probably the better plan. Undyne can get the last 10 AP she needs for that ability any old time. Let me check to make sure she actually has sleep on. So, yeah, it was a little startling to realize that I would look at my team of 4 or 5 people and see 3 of them as dragoons, and they were not individuals to me. It was just like,
This is a dragoon unit.
yeah, these are just my set of dragoons.
Well, that's much more martial. Was it a much more martial game? Like, this feels like a kid with a clan with like a family that they've pulled around him.
Yeah, I mean, your character starts the game as a squire at a military academy.
Yeah.
And then becomes a mercenary.
Uh-huh.
But yes, it is a much more militant
Story
and game.
I wonder if they do that to distance you from your units on purpose. Do they have names and stuff?
Yeah, they have names. And like I said, I think in the Japanese release, like, you know how you can go to this screen and you can press the minus button and you can like bring up this little pointer to highlight various things?
Yeah.
I think in Japan, you could go to this form of menu and you could highlight people's names.
And then get their little, I'm from
There was
Podunk Town and I was a baker.
There was like a big list of quips, and some of them were like, I think, about the world and the characters, and others were just like hints and tips. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that all of that was cut from the American release, or well, I should say the non-Japanese release, just because of the volume.
What about...
that was in play.
Oh my gosh, what about Peace Walker?
Peace Walker...
Because you can kind of like steal people.
Yeah, and
I mean, recruit them
I think
by
that
stealing them.
they have so many portraits for all of the characters that I think that it kind of skirts around it as well. I never just think of them as... Peace Walker is weird because the tone is so different.
Yeah. But it's the only other example that I can really think of that has that big difference between your unique characters and then there's just this horde of people that you can just have on your base.
Yeah.
If you really want to, you can just keep picking up jokers, like, all day.
Well, right now I'm thinking about Disgaea. Mm-hmm. Disgaea I think it has a very interesting solution to the problem of like, well, we have this system where you can have tons of generic characters of that you'll have like a questionable level of attachment to. How do we justify this system? Like, why? Why does the player need to be able to make 114 of the same basic warrior?
But you're the overlord, bahahaha.
Oh, yes, you are the overlord. Ah, ha, 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 ha. In Disgaea D2, the reason is, and especially in Phantom Brave, which is by the same company, in many ways, your units are like consumables. Like, the reason why having a generic character can be very helpful in that environment, it's because, specifically I'm thinking about in Disgaea D2, after a certain point in the game, you can sacrifice one character's, like, class ability and give it to another character. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, so this is probably not like a super power play, but just one that springs to mind. I think it was female warriors had an ability that they get an attack power buff for like the duration of a turn.
Yeah.
For like the current turn, based on the number of tiles that they moved that turn. On paper, even if there are better combinations available, it does synergize very nicely with an archer ability, where they get an attack power buff. An attack power buff the further they are from the opponent that they're shooting at, right?
Right.
So the idea is an opponent moves close to you, you take both of those abilities together.
And then you run away and then
shoot
get a
them from
great
further.
bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
And you double up on your bonus.
I see.
And that there are combinations like that throughout the game. Like, I think that there's like Little Sis Aura that cuts elemental damage you take, and there's an ability from Slimes that cuts physical damage you take. So if you have them both, you just always take less damage. Like, full stop. And being able to train up 10 of a unit at once to sort of like allow that ability to spread across your entire army.
Yeah.
That's very handy.
It feels more like training troops than managing a small group of people.
Right. But hold on, I've got a counterpoint to this that I want to talk about later.
Okay.